Peace, love, light, always balance. Darkness and chaos when it arises. Moon's alchemist. I wanted to talk about amnesia, sobriety, and simply just making a disclaimer right now to say that this is just me speaking and sharing my mind in regards to my experiences with sickle cell and other people I speak to who have sickle cell, and just a simple analyzation of what I think about certain things when it comes to us. So I just wanted to make that disclaimer. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I'm an alchemist. Alright, so the disclaimer's out there. No matter what age we get diagnosed with sickle cell, it shifts our entire reality. And we all live in reality, right? Everyone's reality is different or similar or parallel or congruent or total opposites. So one thing we have in common, I'm gonna say, I'm making some numbers up, so don't take these numbers seriously, but 99% of people with sickle cell have experienced pain before, right? So, and some of us experience this pain, you know, for the first time. Like, that's how we get diagnosed. Like, for me, for example, when I was 4, I had pain in my leg. My dad's like, what the heck is going on? Like, you didn't fall, you didn't hit your leg, like, what is going on? So I went to my pediatrician, and there you have it. You know, the pediatrician's like, oh, you're a black little girl. And, you know, it wasn't mandatory in Canada to test for sickle cell when for black women and children. So now it is, but at the time it was not mandatory. So fortunately, I guess you could say fortunately, my pediatrician at the time said, a black girl in pain out of nowhere for no reason. Yeah, let's test for sickle cell. There's an energy when it comes to diagnoses, and it's important to make sure we're caught up on certain things. However, there's just so many breakdowns that I really feel like I'm just going to really start sharing more of my mind. Like, why the fuck not? I already made the disclaimer, you know? So, the amnesia that I want to talk about that we might experience, go through, or have gone through and come out of. The amnesia is from the substances we have to take. Now, everything is energy, frequency, and vibration. Everything has a frequency. You have a frequency, energy, vibration. This grass has an energy, frequency, vibration. This car has an energy, frequency, vibration. These houses have energy, frequency, vibrations. Knowing the level of what energy, frequency, and vibration something is determines on our awareness and such like that, right? I'm saying that because narcotics, these substances, yeah, opioids, narcotics, painkillers, yeah, they too have an energy, frequency, vibration. And the substances that we consume for our pain, to kill our pain, is very low vibrational. Again, this is not me judging us to have to take it. It's just me analyzing what's truly going in. What's truly going in. And it made me realize, due to the low vibration of narcotics and opioids, due to the side effects that we are told indeed give us these side effects, I believe that one of those side effects that they don't mention is amnesia. And I'm not talking like, it could be very in depth when I'm speaking about amnesia, and it could also be just straight to the point. When I speak about amnesia, I'm speaking about a part of us that was subconsciously blocked. Because I want to say that anybody born here comes born knowing who they are. Yes, as a baby, we're conscious. We have a conscience already. We are more aware than we think, even if we cannot see full figures yet, or we're seeing shadows, things like that. There is an awareness. There is an awareness that we have when we are babies. How does a baby know to go to the mother's breast for nourishment? An awareness. So when I talk about that awareness, I'm not saying all of us. I'm just saying that there is a spectacle, a piece, a link that gets blocked at a very young age, because a lot of us started taking narcotics at an extremely young age. And again, with all the side effects that they tell us, this side effect that I'm talking about is not going to be spoken about, because it's more spiritual, it's more mental, cerebral, it's more energetic. And one thing about the sickle cell community, I know every literal location of where we are is different, and how we deal with ourselves and how facilities or institutions deal with ourselves. However, the majority of the time, there is no room, time, or space for people with sickle cell and their mental, psychological, and or psychiatric support. There's barely any support for that. So this brings me into the catch-22 cycle that we experience with the amnesia of some of us losing aspects of our subconscious, of our awareness, of our psyche, due to these substances that are low vibrational, that put us in a low vibrational state. Now, low vibration isn't bad, because the ground that we walk on has negative ions. So it's high vibrational to put your feet on the ground. However, you are receiving negative ions. So negative is not bad. It's like a battery. You need the plus and the negative sign. So I'm not talking about no moral system. People should know morally, I'm not gonna go steal this car right now. I'm not gonna break into this house right now. I'm not gonna harm somebody. So I want to be very clear on where I'm coming from. These substances that we take put us in a low vibrational state. Now the thing about it is, one thing about it is when any of us experience sickle cell crises and we get that drip, you already know that we stop crying and we stop fussing, because what does it do? It's called narcotics. It's called opioids. It's called painkillers. It doesn't kill your pain. It doesn't kill anything. It blocks it. It numbs us out. Because narcotics and opioids don't go to the root of what pain is. Pain comes from inflammation. Pain comes from inflammation. Where does inflammation come from? That inflammation can come from for various reasons. It could be based on acidity. Yeah. And I'm speaking to me too. Okay? Because growing up, give me the oxtail. Are you crazy? Give me the jerk chicken. Give me the turkey legs. Give me the ham. Give me, what are you guys talking about right now? Give me the food. It's good. It tastes good. This is a part of my upbringing. This is, each generation cooks like this. So give me the food. Us not realizing, though, that our ancestors had a certain way of consuming things. Because your ancestors, let's say in America, right? I'm from Canada. So my ancestors are more Caribbean based and even African based on the Caribbean. In America, yours is more American based because you guys are native. A lot of you are. So of course we're gonna keep up the generational traditions, right? But during slavery, those traditions got stripped away, though. And we know this. We literally know this, right? So one would have to then really ask, hold on a sec, man, because there are things that we're consuming that doesn't help us, but we are programmed to just keep doing them, and it puts us in a catch-22. Why? Because when we deal with sickle cell crises, we then have to deal with narcotics. That puts us in a low vibrational state. We have to then wean ourselves off, withdraw. Some of us have to take this shit Sorry, I'm striving not to cuss anymore. Some of us have to take this stuff every day. So after you take it now, you still, we're still eating acidic. So you're eating acidic food, and then you're consuming acidic drugs. So the catch-22 is the body's acidic. So that's the catch-22, and again, I'm speaking because this is the catch-22 I was in, and I'm striving to get out of certain cycles that make me tired, cycles that make me forget or just cycles that are not progressive to my breath, work, and strength, So these narcotics put us in low vibrational states. We get home, we withdraw, we get back to our daily lives, And we're not realizing I don't think we fully talk about like the effects of what it does to the brain, these narcotics, and what it can do to the spirit. Like, we forget about that part, I think, sometimes. And these substances are not holy, right? So I know people who follow me are religious, like some people are maybe more spiritual than religious. However, we know there's a Most High, so I don't want to be arguing about that. All I'm really striving to say is the substances are holy. Like, weed is more holier than thou than dilaudid. You want to know why? Because weed was made from the ground. God literally said, you know what? This is a healing herb, not narcotics. That's a healing herb. It's not meant to abuse like narcotics. And again, I'm not saying we're abusing it, you're abusing. I'm just speaking now in general. There's some things a little backwards, don't you think? Now, I know this is what they gave us, right? They gave us this option. This is the only option you guys have. This is what they're saying to us. This is what we can do for you right now. If you have $2 million and you're eligible, then that's another option. But that's not for everybody, right? So you would have to really take in and ask yourself, is there other things that I could do for myself that have nothing to do with attacking my body, that have nothing to do with treating my disorder, then rather than actually healing it? These are the questions that I had to ask myself and be like, yo, something's got to give, something's got to change up, right? Because the only thing that changes is change itself. So when I realized, I'm tired of always having to go to the hospital. I'm not perfect, but I realized the less and less I went to the hospital was the more I got rid of acidity. And when I went to the hospital, it was based on me doing the most, me pushing my body past the limit it wanted to go, and that is something to realize. I'm sharing that because with sickle cell, with everybody and pain, it's subjective, okay? Everyone's pain level is subjective. At the same time, people with sickle cell don't really have a choice when it comes to creating a threshold. Like, we have no choice but to say, we gotta take this pain, especially if you're dealing with racism in the medical industry, in the medical field, in the hospitals, in the facilities, in the institutions, especially. So you gotta sit in your corner at emerge, and you have to wait and wait and wait, or you get admitted and you have to wait and wait and wait for your pain meds, even though they said this is what's gonna help you, but then they don't want to give you the pain, and then you still say you're sickling. They do their blood test results, and then they gaslight you and say, well, you're not sickling, so I don't know why you're in pain still. So amnesia happens when something traumatic occurs. It can happen like that. Amnesia can happen through substances. Amnesia of the subconscious. Amnesia of a certain aspect of your spirit that forgot because of how you were taught to take care of yourself. Right? So it's one of those things that make you realize, oh, there's lots of healing to be done rather than treating. But again, these are my thoughts. I'm sharing my mind. So I'm not here to come at anybody. Anyone watching this, you know who I would really be coming at, right? It's not you. But at the same time, I am talking to you. I'm talking to my sister, my brother. Even if we're not friends, or you're not my sister, you're not my bro, or you don't really fuck with me like that, I'm talking to the sickle cell community in regards of healing. So the word amnesia, I'm using that word on purpose, because if we truly remembered all aspects of ourselves, we would understand that we are all capable of healing. Our ancestors were very adamant on spiritual practices, on understanding self, knowing yourself, on nurturing, nourishment. Eventually, we had to get deeper into practices because things like malaria, due to colonization, was going rampant all over the damn place. So amnesia is something that we are capable of breaking out of, energetically, spiritually. And I think sobriety is possible for myself. I'll speak for myself first. I haven't experienced sobriety for a whole year yet. I know that will happen. What? I know that will happen. Even if I start off small, I always say gradual, like a gradual step into what you're striving to do, However, sobriety is a rare thing for people with sickle cell. And it's just a reminder that you're a warrior because you have to navigate this world while sometimes being lucid. Sometimes being lucid, meaning high. You're here, but are you really? Mentally sometimes, So again, sharing my thoughts. Please don't take it too serious or personal. It's just something that I realize I gotta strive to do. Because I was told sometimes I say shit that someone be thinking, but maybe they don't know how to say it. And I'm in a space where sometimes I don't know how to say certain things that I have in my mind because I don't want to offend anybody. But that's not my intention. So that's why I'm on here right now, going for a walk and sharing my mind. So sobriety is possible. because there are people with sickle cell in, let's say, Nigeria, with no source of opioids or painkillers, and they have to just suffer. And that's not even the best option, just to not do anything, right? It's just, knowledge is powerful, and educating yourself about healing practices, modalities is very much doable, and we're capable of engineering ourselves into homeostasis. And I'm going to use that word engineering because there's genetic engineering going on right now, right? So why can't I use that word? I'm not a doctor, I'm a scientist. Just kidding. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, I'm an alchemist. I did want to become a scientist, and perhaps I'll study more about biology and such. One thing I know is that my ancestors knew about alchemy, though. And that's what I'm learning more about. That's what I'm walking more into. And that's what I will continue to share. But there is an amnesia situation going on. And I think it's time for us to get out of this amnesia and get into re-remembering aspects of us that we think we do not have, or that we think we've left behind. And this message can go for anybody, because people with sickle cell, we also have to navigate the world, right? It's just our experience of how we navigate the world. It's a little different. It's very different. Doesn't mean that we cannot. It doesn't mean that we are not allowed to hold space for healing, okay? Because treating is not healing. So that's my mind share today. And I know that there are certain energies in the algorithm and the cyber world that don't necessarily want me to speak about these certain things, but I'm going to keep speaking, and I'm going to keep sharing my mind. And I'm grateful for the people within the last few years who have told me keep going. I am, and I will. I had to readjust, realign, recalibrate, recharge, reboot, regenerate, rest, reset. I will share my mind. And I trust and know that the more we share our mind, the more we're able to understand each other, the more we're able to communicate better with these doctors, hematologists, scientists, the more we're able to heal. So if you're feeling this live, please share it. Because again, I'm shadow banned. I would really appreciate it. Peace, love, light. Always balance darkness and chaos when it arises, all right?